Straight ahead on this week's edition of the Hawkeye Sports Report, the Hawkeyes go 3 for 3 against the Cyclones to open the month of December. We'll have highlights from all 3 matchups coming up. The women's basketball team is 1 win away from the clean sweep in the intra-state matchups. Head coach Lisa Bluter will stop in just a bit to talk about putting a stamp on the state title. And the wrestling team is about to grapple in the Garden. We'll hear their thoughts on their mindset as they head out east for their final tune-up before conference wrestling opens next month. This is the Hawkeye Sports Report. Hello everyone and welcome into the Hawkeye Sports Report. Last week, men's basketball, women's basketball, and swimming all played host to interstate rival Iowa State. Plenty of hype was in the air for the men's basketball team's matchup with the Cyclones on Friday, and a lot of that talk was geared around Iowa's youth against Iowa State's experience. And it was the youth that provided the spark, leading Iowa to an 80-71 win over the Cyclones. The freshman trio of Mike Gassell, Adam Woodbury, and Anthony Clemens contributed 34 points, 11 rebounds, and 11 assists. Throw that in with Aaron White's game-high 18 points, and you have yet another Hawkeye win in Carver Hawkeye Arena. Another in-state foe awaits them on Saturday in northern Iowa. That will be the opening game in the inaugural Big Four Classic in Des Moines, and is a game you can be sure the Hawks have had circled on their calendars since last season.
UNI's got a lot of weapons, and those are the kinds of teams that give you trouble when you're trying to scheme to how you're going to defend them. They spread you out. Their bigs can shoot threes. Their guards shoot threes. They're substantially more athletic than I think anybody ever gives them credit for.
It's going to be a lot of fun. The fans should be great. The atmosphere will be fantastic. UNI is a very good basketball team. They're a dangerous team in the ways that they shoot very well, and so you can't let them get too hot, and you know they're also always a very disciplined team.
Yeah. Is that a motivating factor going into the
Oh yeah, definitely. Anytime you lose 20 plus points or more, and all the stuff that went on in the game, it's definitely a motivating factor. We don't want that to ever happen again, and they out-toughed us that game, and that's something we don't take lightly.
UNI's a good team. They always have been, especially in the past few years. I mean, they're solid. They play a really good, solid game, and I can't wait to go out to Wells Fargo because it's a great stadium, great atmosphere with 2 in-state teams, hour and a half away. It's going to be a good one.
So I think if you look at a college basketball fan in this state, he can go Saturday and watch 4 really good teams play and really enjoy, for a relatively inexpensive ticket, have a great day of college basketball.
And speaking of men's basketball, let's now take a look at this week's Plays of the Week.
Our first play of the week comes from the Iowa men's basketball team's victory over the Cyclones Friday. After the made basket, Adam Woodbury quickly gets things going to Devin Marble, and Marble with the long and pretty alley-oop pass to Aaron White for the jam. In the pool, Becky Stoughton set a new school record in the 200 butterfly, 1 minute 59.28 seconds for a win in the duel against Iowa State. And on the mat, Iowa's only pin against Lehigh as senior Matt McDonough pinned Alex Abreu in just 2 minutes, 5 seconds. Those are the Hawkeye Sports Report Plays of the Week.
The Iowa men's basketball team returns 8 lettermen, including 3 starters, from a team that made its first postseason appearance in 6 years last season. The Hawkeyes now welcome in a nationally ranked recruiting class of 5 talented freshmen. The Hawks are on the rise. Order your season or single game tickets today. Call 1-800-IA-HAWKS or visit HawkeyeSports.com.
Welcome back to the Hawkeye Sports Report. We're now joined by head coach of the women's basketball team, Lisa Bluter. Coach, we're about a third of the way through the season, hard to believe. And how would you assess your team so far?
Well, I don't think coaches are ever happy with where they are right now, and we're probably in that same boat. I think at times we've done some really good things, but we have to get consistent. We have to get consistent in a lot of areas, consistent in our rebounding, consistent in our defensive principles, and I think we can run our offense a lot better. We've gotten better at our turnovers over the last several games, but we need to continue that trend.
Let's rewind a little bit. Your last game was actually against Iowa State. They came in ranked and they were undefeated, and this was a big game for your squad.
It's always a big game. Whenever you're playing against an in-state rival and you put Iowa State and they're ranked 22nd in the country, they're undefeated, come into Hawkeye, but they haven't played against the competition that we had played against, in my opinion. They hadn't played a true road game yet, and so we were putting them to the test, and we got out to a great start in this game, 14-0 to begin this game.
Yeah, that was a very fast start, and then it was kind of a game of spurts. Got out to the quick start, and then things kind of slowed down for a little bit, and I thought Thiera and Melissa really gave you a spark.
Thiera and Melissa did. They gave us a huge spark. Thiera had some great hesitation dribble, and then Melissa had hit 2 big threes while we were tied in this basketball game, and that was really important for us. But, see Morgan Johnson with the nice assist. Morgan, everybody thinks of Morgan with, the points, the block shots, the field goal percentage, but you don't realize she's a pretty good passer in there. And then Sam gets in on the action. Sam passes over to Thiera. Thiera has the nice jump shot there from the baseline. But that's the 3 that was really a big one, or one of the big ones for us when it was tied. And then the steal by Thiera, too. And look at this hesitation as she goes in there. A little hesitation, little shake and bake there. You got to like that.
Yeah, I thought that was maybe the play of the game there. That and then Melissa's 3 that we're going to be showing here shortly, too.
Absolutely. I think you're right. Because Thiera's comes off a big steal and puts us up. And there's the 3 you're talking about. Yep. Tie game, 39-39, 4 minutes left to go in the game. Melissa comes up with a big 3. So that was important. And then this basket by Melissa, assist by Bethany. Great pass by Bethany. Melissa doesn't get the 3-point play, but does make the 2 and puts us up 6. And look at Jamie Prinny. Look at that smile. You got to love that. Your seniors celebrating in style, enjoying the victory over Iowa State.
You got to be happy for those seniors. It's been a back and forth series against Iowa State for them, and you could just tell that they were relieved after this game.
Well, yeah, it's been home court. Home court has carried this game, but you never can take anything for granted, and state championship has been our goal since the beginning of the year, is that we wanted to win this state championship, and now, we're 1 game away from that.
Talk about that next game here. You're going to go at Drake this coming weekend. There's a lot of interesting ties in this game.
It's an unusual situation going back to Drake. Jenny and I spent a big part of our lives there. Yep. I was the coach there for a decade. Jan and Jenny played their collegiate careers there and then coached there for 8 years. Yep. Jan Jensen has her jersey retired and hanging from the rafters there. So there's constant reminders of, that we were a big part of that program. And when we go back, now the players have all changed, but you still have some of the same emotions, some of the same fans. It's the Knapp Center, which we were able to open up back in 1992. So there's a lot of emotions. And of course now the added one with Jenny Lillis being there as the basketball coach.
Any thoughts about what that's going to be like going up against her?
Jenny was a great Hawkeye, and, I'm sure she cheers for Iowa every single game except for this one, just like we cheer for Drake every single game of the year except for this one. Jenny is a competitor. That's what made her a great Hawkeye, is that she was such a great competitor, and I'm sure she's going to bring that energy to the Bulldog basketball team.
Absolutely. Well, we wish you nothing but the best of luck this weekend.
Thanks, Nick.
We'll see you in Des Moines on Sunday.
Sounds good.
The game will be at 2 p.m. in Des Moines at Drake, as we mentioned. That'll be on Mediacom. Let's now kick it to this week's Players of the Week.
Our first player of the week is Thiera Taylor. The junior guard tied for a team-high 11 points in Iowa's win over Iowa State and also grabbed 9 rebounds. She was named Big Ten Player of the Week by collegesportsmadness.com. Another guard, this one from the men's team, freshman Anthony Clemens. Over the last 2 games, Clemens has 16 assists and only 1 turnover. Against Iowa State, he scored a career-high 14 points. Derek St. John came up with a big win against Lehigh on the mat. Top-ranked at 157 pounds, St. John defeated 4th-ranked Joey Napoli 6-0. St. John was named by the conference as the Big Ten Wrestler of the Week. Those are the Hawkeye Sports Report Players of the Week.
We fight, fight, fight every day in the gym. We're going to fight, fight, fight every game on the court. Will you fight, fight, fight with us in Carver this season? This is Hawkeye Women's Basketball. Get your season tickets now. Call 1-800-IA-HAWKS or visit HawkeyeSports.com.
Non-conference play is winding down for the basketball and wrestling teams. This weekend will mark one of the final non-conference matchups for the nationally ranked Iowa wrestling squad. They're coming off a 26-9 win over Lehigh, where Iowa won 7 of 10 matches, headlined by a first-period pin by Matt McDonough. They now prepare to travel out east to New York to participate in the Grapple at the Garden against Hofstra and Bucknell. They will then travel cross-state to Buffalo to take on the Bulls on Monday. A lot of travel and the last time to tee things up before opening conference play with nationally ranked Ohio State in early January.
Been talking about it quite a bit, and it's been a good thing in the works, and now we're at 0 hour almost. I think it's going to be fantastic. Just the world stage, and you can, say all you want about overemphasizing that. I don't believe that you're overemphasizing it when you say that, because you are in a marquee building, facility, and now you're putting wrestling in that stage, and the way it's been marketed and promoted, it's been first class.
Yeah, I watched Cinderella Man before. That was a pretty cool movie. Thought it'd be awesome to, compete in a place like that. But I mean, it's gonna be awesome to compete in the Gardens, but I think it's a lot more fun to compete in Carver.
Means a lot to me, for one. Something you grow up dreaming about. You always hear Madison Square Garden. You got famous artists that always sell it out. Basketball teams. Big events is usually the only thing that's there. So it's real exciting for me, and it's real exciting for the sport of wrestling that it's something that we could get at Madison Square Garden, a place and an experience for us. You just got to go out and you got to do what you're there for and keep your mind straight and keep focused on what's in front of you.
Be able to do any sightseeing or anything, as Coach told you might have a little time?
I have no clue. It'll probably be a little bit of time for that, but we'll see.
What would you like to see in New York City?
Statue of Liberty. Never saw it.
I know we get out there Friday night or Friday afternoon, so maybe we'll be able to do something, but we still got to remember what we're there for.
What would be on your list? What would you want to see?
I just want to see Times Square.
Right now we got Bucknell and Hofstra, and we got to get ready for some individual matchups, and if we do that, then the team takes care of itself, and that's why we go. But let's go there to wrestle. Let's go there to score points.
After months of anticipation, the fuel inside us rises. All of our training and devotion has prepared us for this. We stand as one team in black and gold. This is Iowa Wrestling. Secure your season tickets today. Call 1-800-IA-HAWKS or visit HawkeyeSports.com.
Next up on Hawkeye Sports Report, we got head coach Mark Long here representing the swimming teams. Coach, we're a couple months here into the season, and just talk about how the men's and women's teams are doing so far.
Well, things have been going great. We just wrapped up our fall peak meet, hosting an invite with we had the #1 team in the country there for the men, with Michigan, and some very quality teams there, Notre Dame, Northwestern, and so on. It did very well, broke some school records, so things are on their way to having a good season.
Let's talk about the men's team a little bit. A couple names early on in the season that stood out is freshman Roman Trusoff and then Grant Petulius, a sophomore. They both set some records early on. Yeah, Roman is really a kid that we're just learning about, and he's actually this week at the World Championships in Turkey. So a very talented swimmer, exciting kid for down the road, and so we're anxious to see what happens with him as he continues to train and get better. And then Grant Petulius is a kid. It's actually his third year here. He had a redshirt year, and just starting to scratch the surface of what he's capable of, and rebroke his own school record. So an exciting prospect for those two. Good, and then it's been also a successful season for the women's team, just coming off another win over Iowa State, the third straight over the Cyclones, and then hot off the press in the Big Ten Swimmers of the Week on the women's side, you swept that with Becky Stoughton, sophomore Joelle Christie on the diving side, and then on the Freshman of the Week, Olivia Kopasinski.
Yeah, all three of those individuals are performing very well. Becky, of course, just continues to improve and amaze us with her versatility and steps up. And I think it was her first collegiate 200 butterfly and broke our school record. So in an off event for her. Olivia as well is showing that she's a versatile swimmer and broke school records. And Joelle, of course, everybody on the boards with Todd Weichel, our new diving coach, have been improving drastically. So it's good.
How important is it for the women's team to really latch on to a swimmer like Becky, who really picked up where she left off last year?
Yeah, it is important for her. She got 9th in NCAAs last year. Was freshman of the year in the Big Ten. So yeah, she needs to be eyeing and thinking big. And so for her to keep that up and keep the intensity going and set higher goals is important for the entire team because it is contagious.
Right. This weekend, you're going to be traveling out to Colorado Springs. You'll be taking on a couple of smaller colleges out there on Monday. Talk about what you're looking for in that event.
Well, yeah, we head out to Colorado Springs after a tough week. We finished, we had the big invite, then we hosted Iowa State, and then we, of course, have finals this week. And the women, I believe, were tied for 2nd in the country with the GPA. So they take a lot of pride in their academics. So once we wrap up this week and achieve our academic goals, we could hop on 2 buses and drive on out to Colorado Springs at the Olympic Training Center. It's a real educational opportunity for the team, and nutrition, and we get to use their facilities, stay in their dorms, and yeah, we're really looking forward to it.
After that, you have over a month, almost a month off, I believe. Talk about what does a team need to do over that big break there?
Well, from this point on, we can really focus on training, fine-tuning, technical things, getting ready for January, where we do have a lot of competitions as we head into February, which is our championship season on into February and March. So yeah, we can really get in some great work, great training. We also don't have classes. We have unlimited time with them, so we really get to develop coach-athlete relationships a little stronger, and it's a real positive time for us.
Well, Coach, we wish you nothing but the best of luck and safe travels heading out west on this weekend.
Iowa women's gymnastics hosts Ball State, Big Ten foes Michigan State and Minnesota, and in-state rival Iowa State in 2013 at Carver Hawkeye Arena. Season tickets are just $15. Purchase yours today by calling 1-800-IA-HAWKS or online at hawkeyesports.com.
High school wrestling matches, we only had 3 or 4 dual meets a year, and there were, some big state school rivals. We might have had 1,000 or 2,000 people, but the biggest tournament we went to is what we hosted right there in Newark. It was called the Beast of the East, and it was pretty big venue, and it was a fun place to compete. But coming to Iowa, just seeing everyone show up, 2 hours early. When I'm coming to walk in, there's already people there, and it's a great atmosphere. Like, man, Iowa wrestling, when I was growing up, I was like, man, they're the real deal. As soon as Tom Brand showed up in my living room and talked to me, it was, within the first minute I knew this is where I wanted to go. This is what I want to do with my life. Looking back on the tapes, I was doing things to get ready for other people, and I wasn't sticking to what I was good at and what got me to that point. I kind of went too much developed, too much worrying about other people and what they were good at, instead of worrying about what I was good at and get to the positions that I can score in and that I can win. After the season was over, we talked, got in touch with Chris Doyle, got a lot of lower body explosion, hip explosion kind of movement, helped me on getting out on bottom and helped me, drive through guys, especially on my leg attacks, stuff like that.
You address those things mentally, you address those things technically and positionally. But you also have to address them strength-wise, and we like how he's addressed those things.
Say that the Big Ten lost some key matchups this year, and this, that, and other. But there's some good guys that are coming back, and then there's some good guys filling in spots. So it's always going to be the most competitive conference, and that's why you wrestle at the Big Ten, and that's why you come to Iowa.
Telford trying to sneak out the back door here. He's got Gibson's leg, driving in. If he can pop his head free, he gets the reversal.
2-point reversal, Bobby Telford. Now keep him down. Keep him down for 1 minute here, Bobby Telford.
I think my strengths are pace, and just getting after people, you know, not typical heavyweight wrestling, you know, getting after people, pushing the pace, pushing their conditioning, pushing their mental toughness, that kind of thing, and, you know, getting to their legs, getting on top, and being tough on top and turning, and getting out, and going right back to it again.
It's been a quiet week with finals being in session, but when they conclude, it will be all athletics for the next month. Definitely a time of year coaches and athletes enjoy. The men's basketball team will get things kicked off Saturday when they travel to Des Moines to take on the Northern Iowa Panthers in the opening game of the inaugural Big Four Classic. Game will tip off at 1:30 in Wells Fargo Arena. That game can be seen on the Big Ten Network. Sunday, Tom Brands' nationally ranked wrestling squad will be grappling in the Garden. Madison Square Garden, that is. They'll face Hofstra at 9:30 and follow that up by taking on Bucknell. And as we mentioned, they will then travel up to Buffalo to take on the Buffalo Bulls Monday evening at 6 o'clock. The women's basketball team will also be in action in Des Moines this weekend on Sunday afternoon against the Drake Bulldogs. A lot of interesting Iowa-Drake ties in this game. Head coach Lisa Bluter used to coach at Drake. Assistants Jenny Fitzgerald and Jan Jensen played at Drake. And Drake is now coached by former Iowa Hawkeye Jenny Lillis, now Jenny Baranczyk. The game will tip off at 2 p.m. and can be seen on Mediacom. And as Coach Long talked about, the swimming teams will travel west to Colorado Springs to take on Austin College and Colorado College. That will also be on Monday evening at 6 o'clock. And Wednesday the 19th will be yet another women's and men's basketball doubleheader, with the women's team tipping it off at 5:30 against Missouri State. The men will follow that at approximately 8 o'clock against South Carolina State. Best of luck to everyone competing. Have a safe and warm weekend.